And finally, we have arrived at the UFC 300 main event. The Sideline Guys present UFC 300 preview show. We've got Alex Pereira, the 205-pound champ, going up against Jamahal Hill, the former 205-pound champ. He's a plus 115 underdog, as Alex Pereira is a minus 130 favorite. I can't wait to watch this fight. I think this is going to be an amazing fight. One that, although was controversial when announced as the main event, I think it's going to deliver as far as the action it's going to supply and the potential insanity that it might bring. I'm really excited to see this fight, especially after seeing their interactions leading up in the weigh-ins, etc., at the press conference. There's a lot of things to be excited about with this fight. Ultimately, I'm picking Jamahal Hill. I know not a lot of people are on his side, man, but I just think he has a different. Although both of these guys have one-touch knock you out power, I think Jamahal Hill's relentlessness and ability to um, stick in there, right? Like I think that's really he isn't given enough credit in his ability to find himself in a position to continue to move forward and to continue to be in the fight regardless of the level of his opponent. I think obviously Alex Pereira can certainly knock him out at any time. That's something to be very worried about in this matchup. But I think ultimately with the way Alex Pereira fights, he leaves himself open to be hits. And I think if any of these guys has shown that they can last in scenarios against other really big power punchers, I think it's Jamahal Hill. I think, unfortunately, with the kind of power that Jamahal Hill has and the way we have seen Alex Pereira get marbleized by Izzy Adesanya with a perfect counter strike, I think that's what it's going to take here. I know that was at 185 and this is at 205, but I think Jamahal Hill has that kind of power that can really stun Alex Pereira. We saw Yuri do it. I tend to think that Jamahal Hill can do it as well. So give me Jamahal Hill to become the champ once again after coming back from his Achilles injury.
Now this is an incredible fight, honestly, and I think this is one where I think there was a lot of issues making this main event for UFC 300, and I think this was kind of a last ditch, last second attempt at making a main event. And this is when I think people heard this main event, I think people were a little underwhelmed, but I think this is still a fantastic fight, and this kind of answers who really is the light heavyweight champion here. This division has been very, very weird. A lot of people have been champions at this division, from Jan to Glover to Jamahal Hill to Pereira. I know I'm even missing a guy, but there's been a lot of champions here, and Yuri, that's the other one. Hello. But this is one where I think if this fight could have happened like 2 or 3 months from now, I would have probably been more on Jamahal Hill's side. But I think what bothers me in this fight is Jamahal Hill. I don't know how if he is 100% going into this fight. Tearing or rupturing your Achilles tendon is no joke, and that's like a 12 to 18-month recovery. For other athletes or from football players or baseball players, but doing it in combat sports, I feel like takes a little bit longer. And I think this is one of those where we just saw in Pereira's last fight against Yuri how much he dominates with the legs, and I think that is going to be a tremendous concern for Jamahal Hill, and I think their team knows it. I think their team knows it. I think Pereira's team knows it too. Who knows how compromised Hill might be after a couple leg kicks in those first rounds, how he'll really be in the second round. So I think this is one where this is Pereira's fight to lose, honestly. If this fight happened a little later, I think this would have been a little bit closer. I think Pereira's big weakness is obviously, we've seen him get wobbled a lot. We even saw he got wobbled a little bit during against Yuri. We thought, he got knocked out completely by Adesanya. Obviously, people credit that to a weight cut. I think that, he's had plenty of times where he's gotten wobbled or he's been saved by the bell. And, I haven't been fully on board with Alex Pereira yet, and I think this is a lot of things have played into his favor, like being saved by the belt twice, and then obviously his power is so dominant for a middleweight division. He became a champion. The Yuri fight, I think he was so. I think that one he absolutely just beat up, Yuri. But again, another fight where he was fighting a guy coming back from an injury. An injury where it was supposedly the worst shoulder injury that that they've ever seen in combat sports, and then he came back a year something plus later. That Pereira has had to come in and beaten two guys who relinquished the belts due to an injury, and he beat Yuri to grab it from him, and now he's doing it again against someone like Jamahal Hill, which is why we're here. And I think if this were 3 months from now, I probably would have picked Jamahal Hill in this fight, because he's had an incredible rise to this ranking. He deserved to be champion. He absolutely mauled on Glover Teixeira, but I think this is one of those where I don't know how dominant Jamahal Hill is yet with his legs, and I think Pereira has one of the best leg kicks in this game. It's so quick and so fast. You don't even know what's happening, and his calf kicks are just so ridiculous. They're so quick. We saw Yuri fall like 4 times. Obviously, Yuri's Yuri, and that's gonna happen, but he beat up Yuri's legs so quickly in that first round that it almost looked like Yuri was compromised after like 3 minutes. And I think if Pereira can do that again, then this will be a very quick fight. I think we could get that signature left hook out of him, because you'll get something where he'll be so Jamahal Hill will be so compromised that it would lead to him being hurt and being unable to keep moving. And then, I think Pereira will just pounce on him. So I think this is Pereira's fight to lose. I have him winning by knockout. But if this fight were 3-4 months from now, I probably would have picked Jamahal Hill.